The Finance Committee
Are you
meeting
ready?
for October 4th, 2021 at 5 o'clock. Dr. Jones?
Here.
Counselor Gwaltney? Counselor Allamon? Counselor Smith? And Counselor Harden?
Here.
So you have, are any of them on Zoom?
We're hanging on.
No, they are not.
So you have two absent, but you have a quorum of 3.
Hanging on a quorum here. Okay, well, we're here, so we'll go ahead and get started. Is there a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes and approve them as distributed for September 20th?
Yes. So
Second.
moved.
Okay, moved by Mrs. Smith, second by Mr. Harden. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed by the same sign, that's 3-0. And then a similar for the special called budget hearing meeting for the 27th, dispense with the reading and approve them as distributed.
Do I have those? Sure, so moved, yes.
Second.
Okay, moved by Mrs. Smith, second by Mr. Harden. This is going to be easy to
If we can just do
identify.
that all night long, just say it
Yes.
on my
I know.
wrist, because I can just
We'll
cut
just,
and paste.
we'll just do that. Just keep us
Yeah.
up.
All right, it's
That was a
been-
joke.
it's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed by the same sign. That passes 3-0. We're just going to move through here, and hopefully we can finish on time. We have one item that I'm going to add to the end that is for discussion purposes only. 160115, update on past, present, and future sidewalk projects. Mr. Smith, if you can come update us on sidewalks. Now, we have several that are in the works.
Yeah, we have a couple in design, and I talked to Clark Bailey today, with our consultant with Kimley Horn, and he's going to be finished with those plans for Salter and for Lancaster this week. So at that time, I'll get with Melody and we'll start the advertising process. We'll combine specs and get it sent to the plan room and start advertising and then bidding, hopefully in about 4 to 6 weeks for those two.
All right, any questions?
4 to 6 weeks. So we'll advertise it when, starting next week, you think, and then give 4 weeks to take bids?
Yeah, we'll get together and figure out what the date's got to be met and how many weeks and all that. That process.
If the design's not gonna be done until this week, that probably be next week before y'all actually.
Get it into the paper, right.
We
that's
need to
right.
go ahead and set a bid, y'all send it out, y'all need to send it out for next week to set a bid opening date, are we that far enough along?
Oh, yeah, are we that far along?
No, I don't think so.
No, we're not. Okay.
Because when we advertise it, that's what we're advertising the bid.
Second,
Mhm.
right.
Yeah, we'll do that in the second meeting.
Right.
Okay.
So let me get the plans first, and then let us put together a schedule, and then we'll make sure we've got all our I's dotted.
All right, don't go anywhere.
Okay?
Okay, so we'll carry that over without objection. Next item, 250417, consideration of 18th Street revitalization project. If you could give us an update on that project, please.
So right now, we're currently in the right-of-way phase. It's my understanding that the Board of Education has to sign a document on October the 14th for that process to continue.
Okay.
We look to be bidding that project in early 2022, the west side of 18th Street.
Okay, okay, so that's moving along. We've acquired everything. We just have one signature left on that, and then we'll bid early 2022. It looks like the mayor might have an update.
I was going to ask if the board has approved it.
That's going to be part of my question tomorrow. I have a meeting tomorrow with Keith Strickland and Alex to
Right.
talk about that because they've had the paperwork and everything since April
Yeah.
for the Board of Education, and for whatever reason, it's not getting signed till now, so there's going to be a huge push to get it started before then. So,
Yeah, and the only thing that comes in between is ALDOT has to do its final approval. That can't be submitted until they get this document. Is the problem that we're going to be talking about tomorrow, is that that's what's holding it up.
And so if they, because we approved this like way long time ago.
Correct.
So we all know that it should have already been done.
April.
So if they know that it was already supposed to be done, why are we saying we're not getting it done until October 14th?
That is, it's not
That's
the
the
board,
question.
That's the
it's not a
board.
board issue.
It's a board
It's
meeting, I
a,
Yeah.
GMC and or Mandel Tillman issue, that it
It's
is
a right,
only-
it's a right-of-way
it's-
issue, really.
No,
Correct.
well,
Well,
no,
we-
no, it's not.
No, I mean, I'm talking about the right-of-way person.
Correct,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
right-of-way
yeah.
person who's Mandel Tillman.
Correct.
For
yeah.
whatever reason, it's not making it till the board till now, even though we approved it back in April, and their next scheduled meeting
Is
is
not till October
not till
14th.
October
That is the
14th.
reason for the
Got it.
October push, is because that's when their next board meeting is. So, I mean, and again, this is not their
Yes, on the
issue.
board's
That's the
And-
earliest they can hear it, but we're gonna push to get things started before January.
Okay, and I'll just mention that, I mean, this has been a very frustrating process on the right-of-way side, not anything just to do with what we're doing, and I want to thank Mr. Kendrick publicly for taking this over,
No
or we would
question.
still be
No
sitting
question.
here with nothing, nothing.
Thank
And
you.
so,
Correct.
thank you, Mr. Kendrick, for what you did to push this along. Obviously, if we'd known there was an issue with the Board of Education building or right-of-way, then Mr. Kendrick would have taken care of that also, but he was not aware of that. So thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Mr. President, for pushing them along, and maybe we can, 2022 is we need to get it done before. We need to get that accomplished before then, so I know you're doing
November
everything
1.
you can. But, yeah, it's been very frustrating dealing with the GMC.
We'll get them moving as
Group.
fast as we can.
Okay, thank you. Okay, there's a wonderful report on that, so we'll carry that over without objection. Moving on, 190521, a consideration of sale of property at 311 Oxmoor Road. I believe we need to carry this over as well.
No, I have the contract signed, so we,
Okay.
Oh, we do, okay.
yes, sir.
What was it, 85,000? What was our final price?
67,000, it's 60,000 plus whatever the rental payments they're gonna get off the lease until that closing. We're gonna close it, but they're gonna continue to have revenue.
Okay, so is your
It's-
recommendation to move forward?
Yeah, I remember.
Okay, so,
See, I'm gonna have the exact contract.
Well, I would make a motion to have the mayor sign that contract. Is that what my motion is? Yeah?
There'll be a resolution authorizing this thing.
Yeah, to authorize the sale and have the mayor sign the contract.
okay. It's been moved.
Second.
Mrs. Smith, second by Mr. Harden. Okay, thank you for doing that. I didn't know that we'd gotten that back. I apologize. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed by the same sign? 3-0, that passes. Send that to council. All right, moving on, 130921, request to consider budget amendments for FY 21-22 budgets. Mr. Burgett.
Ms. Jones, is this where you want to do the budget amendment for the Bree Street?
Yeah, let's
Okay.
first talk about that.
Okay.
And we might need Mr. Smith up here, back up here to talk about this. We have looked at, within the budget, we had a slight oversight where the Ree Street sidewalk project was not allocated within our budget. So the recommendation from Mr. Smith is to take the funding that should have been for Ree Street sidewalks and take that out of the Diverging Diamond project, seeing that we were allocating 100% of that budgeted item this fiscal year, even though it's over a 2-year period. So we had budgeted 2.8. So the recommendation is to fund the Ree Street sidewalk project out of that, taking its, I have $311,290 for the Ree Street project, and that would go into sidewalk construction Fund 26-11-589146. Okay, did I miss anything?
That's correct. That's the Reese Street sidewalk construction, and the funding will be coming from 26-11-581714, the Diamond Interchange.
And so are we taking $300,000 out of that?
Yes, sir.
We funded
The whole thing, that's right. I knew
Some of
that.
it will be paid the following year.
And so next year, we're gonna have to come up with $311,000.
Correct. So that was 581, what was that?
581714.
Could you say that number again,
311, 5, let's see, where'd I have it written? 311, 290.
Have we,
Okay,
have,
so there's your-
we were gonna October 1 pay them their first payment. Did we do that to AlDOT? Give them that half, that first half?
We have not made a payment yet.
No, because it hadn't been, we haven't had a bid accepted.
Okay.
Correct.
So that's the process, timing-wise, okay.
Correct. Originally, when that deal was worked out with AlDOT, the bid was supposed to have long since been
Right.
accepted, and construction should have been close to finish.
It's gone up.
So since we haven't gotten to that point, that money got delayed.
Okay.
is that the only
That right now is the only budget amendment.
Yes, sir. That's the
that
only one
needs
we're
to be
considering.
All right,
addressed. Yeah.
then I would move to take $311,000, $311,290 from the diverging diamond line item, put it into the sidewalk construction line item to cover the cost of the Reese Street sidewalk project.
Second.
Okay, moved by Mrs. Smith, second by Mr. Harden, and a quick discussion. I mean, obviously, this is an important project in terms of connectivity within the city, and also there are not any other projects that we did miss, hopefully. So this is the last one. So this is not new money. Obviously, we're doing a budget amendment on this. So
And real quick, can I just make a comment along those same lines? Just so everyone understands, because I know not everyone was around for this when it came up originally. This project was in the budget for at least 2 years.
Yeah.
And didn't get started for various reasons. It went out of the budget last year because of COVID. This was one of the items that was cut. So one of the reasons that I think everyone is comfortable diverting this money, not just because it wasn't going to be used next year in all likelihood anyway, but doing this project as opposed to others is because of the fact that it was one that was already essentially in the budget and sort of planned to be in the budget.
kept being delayed, yeah.
And because it kept being delayed, and the engineering's already done on this, correct?
90%.
90% done, so we're really at a point of construction, so, so anyway, this is a bit of a unique situation, and I want everyone to understand that, because I don't want other projects coming up that we're taking money out of the diverging diamond line item. I'm comfortable with this one, but.
Is the 311, Kale, is that 311,290? That includes, I assume, some of the engineering, some part of that 10% or whatever?
So the 11,290 will get us, is the engineering fee, plus a little bit that is carried over from the previous year.
Okay.
And then the 300 is just the engineer's opinion of cost.
We don't 100% know until we bid it. Yeah, I mean, we're putting $300,000 in there, but we don't know for sure.
All right.
Could be less, but it might be more.
Okay, any other questions, comments?
Counselor Jones, I have one question. It's not about the finances, but it's about the time frame, and I might have missed that. Do we have a time frame for when Reese Street will begin, the sidewalks?
The construction?
Yes.
No, we don't know, but it will be sooner. It'll be in the next couple of months.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any other questions, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed by the same sign. We're still 3-0. And the last item, 210921. request to amend FY 21-22 funding for one roof. Do we have a representative here from One Roof that has a proposal for us?
Yeah, and I will say this, I mean, I think, what is this, $5,000 sidewalk?
Yeah, but
We have never, I know we did this last year because, or the year before, because Mr. Higginbotham was on the council and requested it. We've never had a representative from this organization come to us. And according to Ms. Salter and Mr. Burgett, they've essentially had to chase the people down to get them their check, which I told them this year, we're not gonna chase people down to give them money. If they want their money, they can come get it, or they can, and that's fine. But I'm wondering why we're amending the budget for $5,000 to an organization none of us has ever seen or heard from.
Well, I did have I did have an email from, Mr. Higginbotham.
Well, I know, but he doesn't work for them. So what I'm saying is, why
I mean,
haven't?
he asked if it was funded in the budget the weekend before the last budget hearing. I was just telling him, but I did get an email
Right,
about that.
and it was not.
Okay.
We did get
because-
a request.
No, we have not gotten a request from them.
So, just to clarify, my understanding is that somebody from the organization had spoken to the mayor at some point this summer in the last few months. That's.
no,
He
that's
shook
not,
his head and
that is
saying
not
no.
the case.
Okay.
We've already talked to the mayor, that's not the case. So we need to get I mean, the bottom line here, it's a request. We don't have any representative here to talk about it. We've not been contacted by them directly, so we need to either decide, just go ahead and drop this. And if they want to make a request to the mayor, they need to go through the proper channels. Meet with the mayor, talk about how this affects Homewood, provide a proposal that provides a direct impact on Homewood residents, and then the mayor will then put it in the budget. A lot of hours are spent meeting with these organizations, which there are a lot of organizations that the mayor has to say no to. But these are the ones that, after spending time, were recommended by the mayor. And so I don't like our procedure as we're going through this. So
And
Mayor,
again,
did you have some?
Well, no, I just wanted to make it clear that there was no request, and I've gotten them from either emails or from meetings that have been requested, but this was one that I had not, and that was a question that Melody and Robert and I, when we went through the budget, were talking about the allocations for these different groups that were asking for funding, and we went through all of them, and when it was found out that they had not sent an invoice for last year's money, that's why it was originally left off.
Yeah, well, and I would say, I mean, I don't really know who One Roof is, but I'm sure they do wonderful work. But I think part of our process is that people come and request the funding, so they can tell us what they do and who they are and what impact they have. Because we have our own city boards that have to fight for money for their projects that are directly impacting Homewood. And I don't see giving money to someone who hasn't asked and clearly isn't too worried about getting it, since they haven't even invoiced us for their last year's allocation. So in my mind, I really don't see a need to amend the budget for this, and I would move to drop.
Okay, a motion's been made to drop by Mrs. Smith, second by
Second.
Mr. Harden. Any discussion?
So, Nick, were you gonna say something? Sorry.
Yes, if it's okay, Chairman Jones, I was just going to add in procedurally, I definitely understand your concern with, just not knowing what the request is for. There needs to be a process. But on behalf of the organization itself, I will say that I have worked with them in collaboration through my job at United Way. They're a homeless shelter. They do a lot of case management. It's a great program. I hope that all of you have the opportunity soon to be, for them to be in front of you to hear a presentation about the great work they do, because it is great. It does impact some of the people who end up in our, city of Homewood, because we do have a homeless population in the city. But process-wise, obviously, there's a concern there as well. But One Roof is an excellent organization.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sims. Yes, did you have something, Mr. Harden?
No, I agree. I think if they can bring it to us and we'll look at it and make a decision.
All right.
So I just wanted to ask, just for the record, Melody, so they never did submit anything the last time they were funded to get reimbursement.
Probably 2 years ago,
Not
we
for
actually had to
payment.
get in touch with Mr. Higginbotham to find a contact to call. And to my knowledge, the last time Robert and I looked at it, we have whatever, was it 5,000 budgeted?
It was
and zero
$5,000.
actual
It was
expenditure.
5,000, I think, yeah,
And
previously.
we've not gotten an invoice. Usually on most of the appropriations, like Red Mountain and the exceptional, we're getting the court request on October 2nd.
Yeah, they get them right away.
We were trying
I
to.
promise
run
you
them down
Meredith's
last
gonna show up and
September
want our
to pay.
money right away,
And Jennifer
everybody.
and Counselor Andrews will probably have it on the next.
So when they were funded, they never ended up with any
They
Homewood
haven't,
dollars.
they have not sent an
previously.
invoice.
Well, I mean,
Okay.
we could still process bills for last year, but
Yeah,
we don't know.
but the more important point is that they were funded and didn't receive. That's
Yeah.
that's the missing part that
Even the year
wasn't
before,
clear
we
for
had to
it.
get Counselor Higginbotham to help us get a contact person to get
Sure,
the
sure.
invoice, so we've had trouble.
Sure.
We're just trying to get it, I don't know whether it's not communicated with them, they're funded, I don't.
Okay, all right,
Okay.
so it's been moved and seconded. Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed by the same sign. 3-0, that passes. If Deputy Chief Broadhead could make his way up.
Mr. Jones, I'm sorry. The mayor just brought to my attention that he would like to request that we amend the transit authority budget. We had budgeted $340,000, and he's requesting that we increase that by $39,000.
You're going to throw this into me at the last minute with the transit
I'm
authority.
standing up here with a target on my.
Okay, okay, go ahead.
I apologize, and just to explain, so when we were going through the budget process, I
gave you the original
had
budget.
requested from Melody and Robert to keep them at level funding
Okay.
for 2019, not
We need to be at
2020, but we
462.
need- No. Whoa, that's not right.
No, we're way below that.
I gave you the original.
I had requested the level funding for 2019, not
Okay.
2020, because we knew that was going to be down due to COVID. And the number for the original budgeted amount in 2019 was 340, but we made a budget amendment afterwards to be able to keep
That's
Route
right,
14
that's
in
right.
place
So
for
we.
379, so it really should have been 379, not 340.
Is it 379?
And then,
It's whatever the.
It's
Exactly.
230.
is the level funding from last year.
So that would be
$39,230.
$30,230.
And that includes is it Route 13?
14.
That will
14.
include the Route 14 budget amendment that we had
Yeah.
to make 2 years ago
I
to
remember.
make sure that was.
Okay.
They'll just have
okay.
to come from
So
carry
that
over fund
would
balance and
be-
debt service and general fund.
Okay,
I
so
I'll send you the numbers.
okay, so we would just add this back into 130921 into one of the budget amendments.
Well, we
It's okay.
we have to split it between the debt service fund and the general fund. The
Because-
debt service fund in account 11-11-523-100, we would request $16,100. And in account general fund 01-11-523-100, we would request $23,230. And they would come from the respective carryover fund balance of each fund.
Okay, is there a motion?
What he said, yes.
Okay, so
And I'll
as
second.
Mr. Burgett
Yes, sir.
recommended, the 16,100 and then the 22,230 coming from carryover fund balance to provide level funding, which we promised them.
Yes.
Okay.
So, thank you, I
That's,
appreciate it.
okay, that's been moved by Mrs. Smith, second by Mr. Harden. Any other? No, that's no problem. I just didn't know we were handling this tonight. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed by the same sign. That's 3-0. Now, Deputy
You get
Chief
that?
Broadhead. So
Ms. Salter, did you get that?
this is a day that we just get things thrown at us. It's always the first meeting in the new fiscal year.
But we don't even have the budget installed yet, we're amending it.
I know,
It
exactly.
breaks my heart.
We
We
might as
have-
well just, I know, it's like, yeah, me too. So anyway, I sent out an email that Deputy Chief Broadhead sent out for requesting that we have the mayor sign this contract with T-Mobile. And I wanted you to be able to explain it, but before you do, I just want to say from a procedural standpoint, I'm about procedure. So this is not on our agenda, as you can tell. But what I wanted you to do is explain what it is, and then I've asked Mr. President here to add it in other new business so that we can handle it, because it's not any expenditure, but it's actually going to be savings. So anytime we have savings, I want to expedite that process as soon as possible. So could you explain to the council kind of what is part of that email?
Yes, absolutely. So first, I apologize for the incorrect procedure. We got this Friday. As many of you know, T-Mobile bought Sprint, and they have merged to one company. We use Sprint for our data link network. That is what police and fire use to get back into the city network. For body cameras, pretty much anything we do in the field, that's how it comes across. They no longer offer that service through Sprint. This is the replacement. The good news is this is going to save us some money. The data plans that are in your contract there, currently, like for the 1 gigabyte plan is all pulled, I pay $15 a month. This contract takes us down to $8 a month. So over the course of the city, we will save considerably on our data. The police department, we've met with them, they're on board. This originally started back in July with Mr. Yates. When he retired, he asked that I see it through to the end so we can get on the new network. I'll be happy to go in more depth if you need it, but I'm here for questions.
It's contract with T-Mobile.
Contract with T-Mobile. It is replacing our current data link. And then Mr. Kendrick had one change he wanted in the network or the contract. I sent it to him. They're going to take,
We don't need James Yates on that.
they're going to take his name off and add the mayor's name.
So there's really no motion tonight. I just wanted you to get a report so that when it comes up on Monday night, it's not something you've heard for the first time. And then you'll have all the documentation for a resolution from Mr. Kendrick so we can take care of it that night. And Mr. Sims, I'm sending this to you. I didn't copy you on this and, okay, any questions? Okay, thank you for savings. For
President
the
White, I
savings.
have a
Okay,
question.
and I apologize, we went over. But it wasn't my fault. I'm just teasing. Okay, for that, we're adjourned.